Hey everybody, today we have a good one in store. We have a live execution. So I'm gonna show you guys that clip and then we're gonna talk about the trade, what the drawn liquidity was, what we were looking for, and we'll go from there. So watch this next part and I will see you after. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so the trade is currently still not at our take profit, but I'm gonna be talking about what I was looking at, what we were looking for, and just doing a deep dive into price actions. So let's get started. We're gonna start on the daily time frame. Perfect. All right. So we can already see, like yesterday and today, we haven't had much movement, and I knew that going into the markets today. So we did trade off of that daily fair value gap and moved lower. I would have liked to seen this new week opening gap traded to, and we'll kind of talk about that a little bit more, but let's drop down to the 4 hour. Perfect. So another thing I was looking at was, look at this 4 hour fair value gap right here. You can see it in the video. This is what I was looking at on the 4 hour time frame. If we were going to go lower, I really wanted to see it push down, push through the consequent encroachment and into that new week opening gap. However, we did kind of stop at the low there, and now it's sort of trading higher. So it was probably good we got out of our trade anyways. But I would like to see this trade down, respect that 4 hour fair value gap as an inversion fair value gap, and then continue lower for the rest of the week, but we'll kind of see what happens. Let's drop down to the 1 hour. And I want to go through this kind of fast, you know, like we'll make it a short video. So if you have any questions, just leave me a comment and I will answer them. Perfect. Now, I was looking at this range right here. So we have this high to this low. This is like a consolidation range, right? This high was formed on Monday, and then this low was formed also on Monday, and we've kind of just been trading inside the range. So I marked it out with a Fibonacci to get the 50% level. And now when we're in consolidation, we want to see the market trade off that 50% level and go lower if we are going lower. And that's kind of what I assumed, because we want to see this new week opening gap filled in. So I was looking for kind of a push lower off that 50% level of this high to this low inside this consolidation range. So that's kind of what I was looking for. Perfect. Let's drop down to the 15-minute time frame. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So we have this 15-minute fair value gap right here. We do see price kind of respect it. We created these relative equal highs right here. We did trade higher, taking out this buy side liquidity during pre-market. We did leave this high, but considering we already took out these two buy side liquidities and we didn't trade above this high, I kind of assumed, hey, we already took out enough liquidity, let's go down. So I measured this 15-minute fair value gap out. We see the market trade back into that 15-minute fair value gap at 10:15. We have a small little fair value gap right here. I'll draw it out for you guys. Very small, but definitely important. We traded into that at 10:15, and then we had this kind of displacement move lower. We also have this opening range gap that I wanted to see filled in. And again, this level, 50% of the consolidation range, we wanted to see the market expand, and we wanted to see it go lower into this new week opening gap down here. So my draw on liquidity was the new week opening gap, the fill of the 4 hour fair value gap, and because we're in consolidation range, we wanted to see the market move off that 50% level. So let's drop down to the 5-minute time frame. Perfect. So we're on the 5-minute time frame. So there's not much going on here, but we do have this somewhat volume imbalance. We traded into that. Remember, this is the 15-minute fair value gap. And then we kind of had consolidation at 9:30. I was looking for those sell side liquidity, but understanding that we're in a higher time frame range, that we're probably not going to move very much or very fast. So with that being said, I was looking for kind of a quick in and out if I could. I wanted to see something form. I was looking for kind of just like an optimal trade setup. If that didn't form, I wasn't getting into trades. So we'll drop down to the 1 minute, but yes, again, we traded into this kind of 5-minute volume imbalance right here while trading into that 15-minute fair value gap, and then of course the higher time frame 15-minute fair value gap after taking out buy side liquidity. We then move lower. We have this kind of higher time frame break of market structure right here when we break this low. Seeing that, I was wanting to trade higher and then go for the sell side liquidity down here, and then potentially the daily low, potentially the fill of the 4 hour fair value gap. So let's drop down to the 1 minute time frame. Beautiful. Now, you guys already seen a lot of what was happening on the 1 minute time frame, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I just want to explain my trade setup and what I was looking for. Right here we have a 1 minute kind of inversion fair value gap, but it's also inside this opening range, and I wanted to see the market kind of respect that. We kind of traded around before we had this displacement run. This displacement run, we broke market structure, we took out some sort of buy side liquidity here above these highs, had this displacement run lower. After I saw that, I was like, okay, we're gonna see if the market can retrace back up into 50% level and back into this 1 minute inversion fair value gap. And it did beautifully, I might add. So our trade was just above the 50% level of this impulse run right here. We got in at that 1 minute inversion fair value gap. And then as you see, this is where our entry was. Our stop loss was above these highs, and our take profit was below these lows, and then eventually into this for our fair value gap. In the video, you can see we ended up closing out of our position right around this level in here after taking out these relative equal lows that were formed, and after taking out our first take profit at 5 points. We wanted to get out of the trade before the 1050 macro because we were, again, it's kind of been a consolidating day. We weren't sure if the market was going to drive higher or if we were going to go lower. So we just kind of closed out the position at 1047, kind of watching the market, seeing what was happening. But I think it was a good idea to close out the position. However, it did eventually move down deeper into profit, not quite trading into our final take profit of the lows down here to the daily low, and that's fine. We still made money. It's still a good day. But as we can see off this impulsive run, impulse swing lower, we measured it out with the fib, comes back up into this 1 minute inversion fair value gap beautifully, I might add, came right into the OTE levels before moving lower. Then we were kind of just watching the trade to see what happened. We see this kind of inversion fair value gap right here. The market came back up into that beautifully. We wanted to see these relative equal lows traded to. Comes back down into the sell side liquidity down here. And then we have a sort of a retracement back up into this inversion fair value gap before moving lower, taking out this low and filling in that 4 hour fair value gap. So all in all, beautiful trade. Right now we're kind of, again, just consolidating. So I think it was a really nice trade, something that was super easy to get in. And seeing this, I was like, okay, this is the trade we're gonna risk on. Other than that, I was not willing to participate in the market. So I'm glad it did offer us a setup, and I'm glad I was able to record it for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. So I'm gonna end the video here. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions at all, and I hope to talk with you guys soon. Bye for now.